In Eastern culture, death is not seen as the end, but rather as a transformation, a continuation of life's journey. Eastern religions, philosophies, and beliefs all hold unique views about the afterlife, a realm where human beings go after leaving this world. While these views may differ, they all contain a deep belief in the existence of a spiritual world and the immortality of the soul. In Eastern cultures, the soul is not regarded as something invisible and temporary, but rather as an inseparable part of the human being. In Buddhism, the soul or mind is the intangible essence of a person, which neither arises nor perishes, but is influenced by the law of karma. When a person passes away, the soul does not vanish. Instead, it continues to exist in a cycle of reincarnation. Death is merely a transition from one life to another, from one body to a new form of existence, based on the actions and karmic consequences of the individual during their lifetime. In Taoism, humans are also viewed as part of the universe, and death is not seen as an end, but as a return to nature, a reunion with the origin. Laozi, in the Tao Te Ching, asserts that life and death are two aspects of the same reality. Existence and death are always interconnected. Taoism believes that when a person dies, their soul returns to the boundless universe and merges with the Tao, an invisible yet incredibly powerful force that governs all things in the cosmos. In Confucianism, while the afterlife is not heavily emphasized, the concepts of ancestors and ancestor worship hold great importance. People are expected to live in a way that is morally upright, so that when they pass away, their soul can rest in peace and be protected by their ancestors. This belief reflects not only a deep respect for ancestors, but also a faith in a world beyond, where ancestors continue to exist and may influence the lives of the living. Buddhism, one of the major religions in the East, has a prominent belief in reincarnation, an endless cycle of birth and death. According to Buddhist teachings, when a person dies, their soul does not disappear, but continues to be reborn into a new life. However, this rebirth is not random, but is influenced by the karma, actions, words, and thoughts accumulated by the individual in their previous life. Karma is the result of every action, speech, and thought a person has. Good deeds lead the soul to a happier, more peaceful life, while bad deeds bring suffering and hardship in the next life. This law of karma can explain why some people are born into difficult circumstances, while others experience prosperity and happiness. During the process of reincarnation, the soul may go through many lifetimes, from human to animal, from wealth to poverty, and from happiness to suffering. However, the ultimate goal of Buddhism is to reach Nirvana, a state of liberation from the cycle of reincarnation, where the soul is no longer affected by karma. To achieve this, each individual must practice self-discipline, cultivate kindness, and maintain mindfulness in life. In Chinese culture, death is also considered an important journey. After death, the soul is believed to either join the world of ancestors or transition to another realm where it will be judged and its fate decided. According to folk beliefs, after death, the soul is led across the Naihe Bridge, where it faces a guard demon known as the King of Hell to determine its fate. In Taoism, when a person dies, their soul continues into a new cycle, which could involve reincarnation. However, if a person has achieved full spiritual cultivation, they may attain the way, become an immortal, living in a world of eternal life. Taoism sees death as a transformation, not an end, and views it as a rebirth into a higher form. Chinese culture also places great importance on ancestor worship, believing that ancestors can aid their descendants in the material world if proper rituals are observed. Thus, for the Chinese, death is not seen as a loss, but as a transition, where the living can still connect with their ancestors through rituals and offerings. India, the birthplace of Hinduism and Buddhism, also has unique beliefs about death and reincarnation. In Hinduism, the soul never dies but simply moves from one body to another. Death is the liberation of the soul from the physical body, and the soul seeks a new body to continue its journey. However, Hindus believe that death is a complex process influenced by karma. When a person dies, their soul enters a realm called Yamaloka, where the god of death, Yama, judges their life and determines whether they will be reborn or endure painful consequences in the next life. Hindus believe that through good deeds, devotion to the gods, and religious practices, people can reduce their bad karma and attain moksha, liberation from the cycle of reincarnation. In Vietnam, death is viewed as an important transition for the soul. The Vietnamese believe that after death, the soul is welcomed by their ancestors and guided to a peaceful world where there is no suffering. This belief is clearly reflected in funeral rituals, where the Vietnamese pay great attention to ancestor worship and perform rituals to help the departed soul rest in peace. Additionally, the Vietnamese believe in the existence of various supernatural realms, such as the god of death, Diem Vuong, spirits, and deities. After death, the soul undergoes a process of judgment, where if they lived virtuously, they are reborn into a better life. But if they lived poorly, they will face punishment in the underworld. Although the afterlife is not as clearly defined as in other religions, the concepts of karmic retribution and liberation are quite clear. From all the above concepts, it can be seen that in Eastern culture, death is not an end, but a part of an eternal cycle where the soul continues its journey. Although there are differences in religious and philosophical traditions, the common belief is in the existence of a spiritual world where humans, after death, either reincarnate or return to the boundless universe. Death in Eastern culture is not something to fear, but a transformation, an opportunity to attain liberation and merge with nature and the cosmos. Through the various perspectives across these cultures, we can see that the journey after death is a meaningful and integral part of existence, emphasizing not just the continuation of the soul, but the importance of living a virtuous life, following spiritual practices, and seeking harmony with the universe.